After quitting my factory job and having trouble finding a job worth the money, I came across a job advertisement in the local town paper. Hiring. Night shift security guard, no experience needed. Call Maurice at, a phone number listed. I called the number and was greeted by an elderly man. He informed me to come in the next day and he would show me around and fill me in. So, I'm hired? Yeah, kid. I went in the next day and showed up for the interview about 15 minutes early. If you aren't early, you're late. I was informed to go to a side door and where the security office was so I wouldn't be interfering with those at the funeral home who were mourning a loved one. A short man with wrinkles and a nice and tight white haircut wearing a security uniform was smiling at me. He had a white caterpillar above his lip stained slightly with black coffee he was sipping on. You must be Conway. Are you named after the singer? Probably. My mom sure loves old country music. Don't you call that old? He let out a chuckle and reached his frail hands out to me. I shook his hand and didn't expect it to be as firm as it was. They put me over the hiring process and you were the first to put in, so I believe in giving chances. Yes, sir. You'll be working a Monday through Friday, from 11 to 7 p.m. He went through the pay, which was exactly what I was making in the factory. He also explained that the weekend crew guys were only 2 of them, but they worked 12-hour shifts and filled me in their names, Jacob and Robert. The evening guy is Jackson. You have to fill in for them. He also told me I could have day shift when he is dead and cold. He doesn't want to retire until he has to. I've had this job since I was about your age. It's a good job. He filled me in on how to watch the cameras, answer a phone call, though it wouldn't happen much at night unless it was a prank call. He also told me what times I should patrol the area. The biggest rule is to respect the dead. I wasn't sure what he meant by it. Our last guy we had was an old coot that kicked the bucket, may he rest in peace. We shook hands on my way out and he offered one more piece of advice. I understand at nighttime it may be a little scary. I've worked a few shifts. You're the only person that will be here and I get that. You may get the heebie-jeebies, but respect the dead and don't let anybody in under any circumstance. I got my keys and so do the other guys. I felt excited coming in on my first night. Jackson let me in and handed me my new badge. I offered him a donut as I settled in the office and he left. I checked the camera screen while sipping on my coffee. I didn't have any areas I was supposed to check for another hour and nothing was going on. I brought my iPad and put Seinfeld on to kill time. Maurice said there wouldn't be any issues with killing time as long as it didn't interfere with the job. 2 hours have gone by and I walked the halls with my issued flashlight, and then I heard a knock at the front door. I scooted back to the office and seen that it was Maurice knocking. The knocking became a banging. He was wearing street clothes. Conway, open up, kid. I need in. I walk over to the door and speak through it. What can I do for you? Listen, I need in. I forgot my medication. What medication? That doesn't matter, but I need in. Don't you have your keys on you? Keys? No, I forgot them. I remembered that he had his office key attached to his keyring that also held ones for his home, truck and other things. How did you get here? In my vehicle. What color is your car? What? I said, what color is your car? Black. You don't drive a car. You have a red truck. He began banging on the door and his voice became much, much deeper and distorted.
Let me in this fucking door so I can get my medication or I'll fire your ass.
I turned around and ran back to the office and tried to tune the noise out. He looked up at the camera and had a very wide smile. Smart boy. He turned around and walked off. Hours passed and it's about time I go walk in the area where the dead bodies are kept in lockers. I knew it was going to smell like cleaning supplies and be cold. I put on my issued jacket. I glanced at the camera down there and froze in place. There were people standing in the area, just standing around and talking. If I would have been thinking, I would have called the cops. But who was also to say that the cops coming were actually law enforcement and not whatever the hell I just witnessed? I ran down to the area with my flashlight swinging as if a light were mechanically moving, left, right, left, right. I opened the door and seen lockers open and a group of dead people standing and having conversation. One turned to me. "Hello there." That's the last thing I remembered. I woke up shortly after and the dead were standing around me. It was scary, but yet heartbreaking. Here's to someone's grandfather, someone who died by suicide, some others, and one that looked butchered badly. "What the hell is happening?" The grandpa spoke up. "I found a note left on this table and it explains we're gonna be alive for another 10 minutes or so. Then we go back in our lockers." "What?" "Beats me." I looked at the lady that was butchered. Her throat was cut, stab marks through her body that made her sundress stain crimson. What happened to you?" "Someone broke in my home and did this." "Do you know who it was?" "I don't, but I want them to suffer the way I did." She began describing the man having dark and short hair, but he also had a snake tattooed on his arm. He also had a prison neck tattoo that she didn't understand what it was. The others stood around and listening. They began mumbling about their lives and enjoying their last bit of time. 4 a.m. pops up in my watch and they all go back in their locker as if their legs were forcing them to. I considered making a run and leaving. I checked the camera to make sure that no one's at the front door, but it didn't feel worth the risk. I finished the shift. As soon as it became 7 on the dot, Maurice opened up with keys and patted me on the back. He was sipping from a cup of coffee. "Okay, kid, let's talk about all this. I'll keep you guys updated as quickly as I can."